Shalom, everybody. Tonight we're going to do, just for about 45 minutes, I'm going to do a live show here. Kandahar Giant location extended. Recap going to be live. So that's what we're doing today. Whoa, here I am. How's everybody doing? Thanks for jumping on here at short notice. I did a show this morning. It was 11 a.m. Eastern time. And I just wanted to see if we could talk a little bit more about it, this subject, about Kandahar Giant. And I wanted to check my audio, so anybody in the chat, I had some few issues with the one that I recorded and I put up today, so I figured I'd interact with the chat for a little bit and talk about a few more things about the Kandar deal, and just see what you guys are up to. So, how's everybody doing? I got old Joel in the house on the Shalom, my friend. I know who you are. Yeah. We met at the Puritan bar, my friend. Yeah. Glad. Okay. Thanks for telling me it sounds good. I've been working on it the last 30 minutes to try to see if it was coming in good. Cool deal. And there's Jane Doe. Does it sound better? So the whole thing sounds better, right? There's old Mike Harrison in the house. Space Force. Yes, your audio's great. Thanks. Thank you so much. All right, great. So here we go. So this morning we was talking about, I kind of left off at if y'all want to go back and watch that episode that I done at the Kandahar Giant location, if y'all want to go check that out, you can check it out after this video. But I was going to show you all something else, and I was going to do it this morning. And when I did that recording, I wasn't up to it as much as I wanted to be. Wasn't as enthusiastic as I wanted to be. And I had a few issues and whatnot. So I figured I'd go live, and I had some comments on that video I did this morning about the audio. So that's why I was putting so much emphasis on the audio. So good deal. Sounds good. So anyways, I'm going to go to Google Earth again, because I wanted to talk about this Kandahar Giant and especially the locations and everything. So let's get into it. Let's see. All right. Let me get my Google Earth going here. All right. So I want to show you guys something. When I was doing this morning when we did the audio, and I had all the issues, but today we're back this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are on the world here. And I'm going to go to Kandar. So we all know the story. I'll do a little recap of what I was talking about the Kandahar Giant. You know, L.A. Marzulli was doing such a significant good job on the 2002 event, and had the red-headed giant taking out a fleet of, highly trained military men, right? So I wanted to put some more light on this, what I found. And I was going to do it, and I only did that 21-minute video this morning. I was like, man, I didn't do enough justice, so that's why I called it extended version. So if you all remember, I don't know if anybody's new and haven't watched it this morning, I was showing a bunch of ley lines, and I want to show you guys something I found. And I was going to show it to you this morning, but I just didn't show it, and I should have. So here we go. So when I was putting so much, as far as going back and looking at this pentagon shape, right, and all these ley lines, and we're in Kandar. So I wanted to show you all something. When you get into military standpoint, and you want to look at military deals, look at all the, especially when Kandar here, look at the all the different bases in the military, right? So if you go zoom into Kandar, it's this fire base Gecko, which I think is interesting, and all these mountain ranges and whatnot. So if you look, and there's so many, I mean, there's what are we looking at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, something like that, you know, in this vicinity, this area. So, and they're all stuck in this pentagon shape. And I thought that was really interesting. They're all built on these ley lines. So I wanted to kind of touch base and extend on from that show this morning, and see what you guys think about all these ley lines and all this. You know, they're harnessing some kind of power here, right? There's something going on, this Kandahar Giant, and I have no idea how long these military bases have been here, right? But I wanted to kind of shine some more light on this particular topic. And like I said this morning, what do you guys think? What was this Kandahar Giant guy doing just randomly in 2002? The narrative, it just doesn't seem right to me, and especially what he was doing, and if he was, basically watching a certain cave location, all the 2001 deal and all the other stuff that that's all history now, but with an Afghanistan standpoint, and that they're all this, what we're getting in the last 20 years, how the world has changed and how Afghanistan has changed in general. But the point is, look at all this data here, right? And this whole Kandar deal is very mysterious, and they're, like I was talking about this morning, they're relating to conspiracy, a hoax, etc. I'm just not buying it, not buying the narrative. And then I wanted to show you one more other thing. Let me cut the military bases off, and I didn't get a chance. I am going to do a Star Fort video this week, so just hang tight and stay tuned for that. But I wanted to show you guys the really cool part about where Kandar, so just bear with me. So if you look, let me get it in here. I'm not even sharing it. If you look, I took off the military bases. So if you look in this pentagon shape, look how many star forts there is, right? I mean, there's a significant amount. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think there's like 12, 13 star forts here. So what I wanted to point out I thought was interesting. So if you go to Kandar, let me go back and make sure I get my bearings here. Sometimes I lose my place. So here we are in Kandar. I got it circled here. So I zoom out, and it's in this area. So it's kind of interesting. There's a literally, if you took a line, a ruler, and all these star forts down here, it's literally a triangle shape form. And Kandar would be right dab in somewhere in the middle. So it's kind of interesting, because I'm doing another show on the Bermuda Triangle, and there's a lot of stuff that I found that I cannot wait to share with you all on the Bermuda Triangle Part 2 that I'm going to be coming out with. But I'm gonna try to shoot and bring that one to the channel this week too. So stay tuned for that. But I just want to show you guys that there's all these star forts, and this is right dab in the middle where the Kandar was. So it's pentagon shape of ley lines. There's a truck ton of ley lines in the pentagon shape, and we got star forts. We got military bases, like a ton of military bases, and quite a significant amount of star forts in this area. So what do you guys think? And I am going to go to the chat and see what you all are chatting about. So bear with me for a minute. And then, well, thank you. Jesus owns me, Brian Gilbo. I appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, well, I guess I was being my worst critic on that, but I thought it was a good show too, but I was just kind of agitated about the audio. I thought it didn't sound, whenever I went back and there was some people mentioning it, I want to make sure I give you guys some good audio and good content, bubbles and farts and all the other stuff that John Hall says. So I'm trying my best to keep up the good content and try to make sure that the quality sounds good for you all. So yeah, I enjoyed this morning's broadcast too, but one thing, I wasn't really feeling it. My vision's messed up. I've been the last day I haven't been feeling all that good, but I'm blessed. So, and I wanted to get on here right before the Dan Bodoni show, which is going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time. But I want to get on here and give a shout out to everybody. And then y'all cracking me up. But yeah, we'll stay on topic. But let me see. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad everybody's popped in all of a sudden. It was unexpected, It was unexpected chat or unexpected live stream. I did it on the fly because I wanted to kind of touch base with you all and kind of get a feel if my audio needed to be turned up, turned down. So I kind of confirmed it right off the bat. So I appreciate you all for doing that. So, but yeah, let's get into a conversation piece. So, one thing I do know that's really bizarre that's going on. So I'm kind of tie this all in with this Kandahar Giant location extended. Let's get into the meat of it. And I recommend everybody go back and watch it because I'm literally showing you all what I showed you just a minute ago was all new stuff that I didn't show in that episode this morning. But just think about if anybody is in the chat that's from Colorado or out west. I know there are quite a few people that live out west that listen to me. But especially in the Colorado, I'd like to know. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. A lot of things have happened since March of this year. Y'all have heard me talk about it. Tunnel systems and stuff. Giant bears taking people. I know I can't remember what town it is, but in Colorado, a town with a significant amount of people missing. Military come in, cleaning up the deal, or trying to see what's going on. They say there's large bears in the tunnels. I seen something the other day where somebody was saying that that Nimrod's body was showing up at some Colorado airport, right? So if y'all can relay, if we can get into that conversation piece, that'd be awesome. I really couldn't find much on it. A lot of speculation. That could be, we could go on a big rant about that. Anything could be possible. I'm not there, that kind of thing, but it would be kind of neat if that was confirmed, if they literally had Nimrods. I'm not saying jump for joy. I'm saying that would be very strange if it was in Colorado, because I've been monitoring Colorado since March and seeing all this weird craziness with the military standpoint. So I don't know how you all feel about that, but it's kind of interesting to me. Kandahar Giant in 2002, that all popped off. The so-called, the whole raid at the museum of Saddam Hussein, all those relics, all those ancient artifacts to do a Gilgamesh's tablet, all the things, all the above. You got a 12-foot, 1,100-pound giant dressed in Roman gear, looking stinking and everything else, and looking like he could, run like a gazelle basically and take out a whole fleet of men, right? So my question is to you all, I keep hearing, I've researched the giants, right? I've researched, you can get into DNA manipulation, you can get all this weird stuff going on, right? And so if y'all can hear the weather in the background, we're having like a storm. So if the electricity gets turned off and I get disconnected, so be it. But the whole thing with getting back to my original question when we started the broadcast here live, what's going on with that cave system in Kandar? And if there was one, there has to be many. There's many of them, right? So I'm not really buying the narrative that they said it was just all a hoax, but then there's a significant amount of data. Chinook went and flew in and grabbed the big man after they took him out, and I heard it was ridiculous. I heard that they had to literally, after their training set in, after they was in cave systems pointing up, and they all had to point at his jaw and blow his jaw off, and then finally get into his throat and finally take him down. And just to, because he couldn't be taken down, he was rejuvenating or something, because every time they shoot him, he was like going around like Wolverine off a Marvel movie or whatever, and just rejuvenating. And then the whole narrative, it put him on a big pallet and, haul him off somewhere in a Chinook helicopter. So it's just, I don't know. Oh, do y'all hear it? Yeah, it sounds like drums back there. Yeah, and I've got it, and what's so bad about it is I've tried to, magnify the audio, so it must be picking up a lot of background sound. So, oh, hey, instead of a visual disturbance, you're having a hearing disturbance on my live feed. But hey, I thank you all for gathering with me. It's what a blessing. But let's get into something real. I was just going rambling on. So I threw up a slide today. I'll throw up another one. It's the same verse. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. You know, a lot of people around here, okay, for the record too, it's kind of funny. A lot of my family doesn't even know that I do a YouTube channel or even talk about this stuff, so it's kind of funny because a lot of them they would probably run me out of the county, so to speak, because they believe in the Sethite theory. They don't, if you could tell them there was a giant, they would, first instinct would go to James or Jack and the Beanstalk stories or something, or some folklore or something just off a movie or Greek mythology or whatever, something they read back in the day. But it's just really interesting this stuff is coming out, and I think there's all a purpose for some reason, especially. And it seems to me, since the 2002 event, since we're talking about the Kandahar Giant, it seemed like it escalated everything, right? And what's so interesting about the whole deal is, like, I can go back, and it's really neat too, and I haven't done it yet, so you can go, and a lot of these articles and stuff and newspaper clippings that have been wiped out of existence, so to speak, they still are archived, and from what I've read and gathered, you can still find them. And what's so interesting, I don't know why this happens, but you can go to these towns and whatnot, etc., and they still have them archived in vaults, like basically, I guess for public record, but they will not throw those away, but you cannot access them on the internet. But it's kind of funny that you can find some, but the ones that are heavy, like straight up tell you 15.5 feet, 12.5 feet, 8.5 feet, and I can assure you, every one that I've looked at, you can find them in every state in America. But the real funny part is when you go back and look, you have to have like a subscription fee, or you have to pay, or something like that, to that extent. Like 1 week, I think it's New York Times, you have to pay like $1, and you can access whatever they have in their archives. But from what I gather, you can go to these, like each individual town, each individual state, and say, hey, go to wherever, Capitol, wherever you can go, courthouse, whatever, art libraries, archives, wherever the collections of archives are in your county, and you can inquire about them. In some cases, though, just like my situation, I went to the one here in my town, and the woman literally, in a kind manner, said, hey, you don't have the credentials to look at the good stuff. So, I don't have my PhD in 1, 2, 3s and 15 different titles to be able to touch their golden books. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. So if you do obtain anything, you can find it, and it would fit everything to do with the Kandahar Giant. So why is it the Kandahar Giant? It seemed like to me, in the 21st century, it just swung everything into like hyperspeed when it comes to the narrative of giants. It started picking back up after that. So it's just weird to me. And then, like, you can go back and look in anything. I mean, I've got stuff from the 1700s to the 1800s. You can go look, and the narrative of Abraham Lincoln. You can go look at, I think it's Thomas Jefferson. They was inquiring about where these creatures and where these giants was, where they was buried. So it's like, what's going on with the narrative? Like, how can I go Crimea if I can say there's giants in Crimea and show you the facts? And then, yeah, it was a 7.5 foot. Okay, that's still pretty significant out of size. 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot, and then there's some that you come across that'll be 8 or 7 foot, but their girth, like the bigness, the broadness of their shoulders, they're massive. Their jaw bones, it can fit over my shoulders. And, a 5'11", 6 foot tall man in today's time. So they was massive. even in height and with width. So I don't know. It's just like it just makes my brain hurt because then you look at the whole alien agenda that they're pushing, and then you look at the whole spin that's going on, and you all see me do that show with John Hall on Cutting Edge when we did the whole thing and we talked about all the artifacts and everything, the Hobby Lobby connection with the Afghan government, all that, and they're trying to spin it, and then the Gilgamesh, and then the whole Denitra thing with the Hillary emails and all this, and they're trying to spin it. So it just blows my mind that we are here in the so-called alien agenda narrative. They're spinning that, but we're going to discredit all data. Everything that's been recorded, you can go back to, you can go back further, but 1700s, there was men talking about and inquiring about these giants and saying, well, we just got to use our imagination and let's just, there's this, there's this culture, this civilization. Let's just pick one. So they ended up picking the Indians because the Indians already resided here. So then they picked the narrative, which, yes, that's real, but they only chose one narrative to teach. And then they just split everything off and just said the heck with it. We're done. We're academia. We're in power. Let's just swing it and wing it. And then here we are. In 2022, we don't know nothing. And then when the Bible says, Genesis 6 verse 4, behind the pulpit, pastors, etc., deacons, they just discredit it, say it never existed, and I can go back in the Old Testament and look at 36 different tribes of giants, the KJV, all day long, and it's like, what are we doing? And it's heartbreaking, but I don't know. But I didn't even pay attention to the chat. Got me all, I'm getting on my rants here. Brian, when you put him on the helicopter, they flew him out with unicorn slippers. They have to have some daggone big unicorn slippers for that, Brian. I mean, daggone. You have to go to, where you going to go get some size 25s unicorn slippers? I say it could be done probably. $200 special. Oh, man. My family thinks I'm nuts. I'm just reading the chat, so I like to engage with you guys. Audio, let's see. I can't talk to my family because they look at me like I'm nuts, which they're the ones lost. That's all. Yeah, I understand that. They say nothing is going on, and then they say you have to have the appropriate credentials, whatever, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, when the Holy Spirit drives you to do something and he teaches you, what can man stop you? It doesn't matter what credentials, it doesn't matter what diploma or what kind of mindset these people have. God will shine it. You got to bring it to light, right? And it makes me really sad, that they'll do. And what's so bad about it, even if I drug one out and slapped it up on top of a van like Harry and the Hendersons show back in the 90s, and, they would ask me what kind of costume party or some type of stuff, bear, or, whatever the narrative would be, they spin it and just say that they would discredit it. And, oh, yeah, we had a Bigfoot sighting, some nut job just stuffed a bear and stuck it on top of his hood of his car driving around with it, right? Well, I can't drive, but somebody be driving me in the past. I'd be in the passenger seat watching Harry and the Henderson up on top of my van. But these people would just look. Even if it was moving and if it tore the golden arches off McDonald's, it'd probably be for the better. Because I don't eat McDonald's and I don't recommend anybody going there. It's poison. So, anyways, if that'll probably cut this feed off here in a minute. YouTube will, but if a giant came and tore the golden arches off of the sign, they would still think it was CGI in a Marvel movie or some type of narrative. They would say, "Who's filming this movie?" That's how sad everything has gotten. It's just that's the world we live in, right? It's like. And then that's what I'm getting at. they, just like the Georgia Guidestones, right? Immediately after the Georgia Guidestones got destroyed, there was they was fact checking it, like, and saying that I was seeing it all across the web, saying that the Georgia Guidestones never existed. It took that long. It was like literally like a 6 or 8 hour. People were saying, I've even asked people since that event, since that all, whatever that diabolical thing was with that whole deal. There's people that don't know anything about it. Don't even know it exists. Never knew it existed. So what are you going to do when you go to this Kandar narrative? And then there are the Snoops, the Snoops articles are saying, hey, it was a hoax. It came out to be a hoax and all this narrative. But we can't discredit, like when that video I did this morning, we can't discredit over $500 million worth of money, spending $500 million spent in the military to make sure that we have, we're doing the stuff in the checking in the tunnels and battling against some kind of battle in the tunnels. What is this? What are they battling? Is this like a narrative with Phil Snyder, the whole alien agenda deal? I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but the point is, people are vanishing. We got, it's just, it's wild to me. It's just wild. And then they shut a well side down in West Virginia because a dozer operator uncovered. And see what I'm saying? I got you, Mike Harrison. I'm looking at the chat. And see, that's like, look, I'll say it again. When I'm dead and gone and I'm in the grave, if the world stands and it's 1,000 years from now, if a bulldozer or some drone or some robot comes by and hears a crunch, they're not going to stop and say there was a guy talking about giants that has visual issues, and they're not going to bow, they're not even going to blink. They're just going to keep plowing on. They're going to grind it they'll make sure I'm finished off, They're not going to stop production. They're going to chime, they're going to chisel whatever they got to chisel. There's not. So that's what makes me see something goes down in these processes, because and furthermore, these people are either ignorant, and then they call an archaeologist, which is military controlled, but I don't understand when they're doing it. Why don't they do that means they're not doing the research on the land. It has to be. They are not. You can go back and find the land and the mapping it out and say, look, we got some issues here, but they've gotten so many people programmed that giants don't exist, and we're probably sitting on all kinds of stuff. Well, especially where I'm from, but it's just it's wild. It's wild. When was that, Mike Harrison? And now look, let's see. Miss Hippie Hebrew, I see you in there. Yeah. Y'all crack me up. I'm glad the sound sounds good too, because I finally got it. I think I finally got it figured out to where I can make some good stuff. So this is literally, if y'all just join the broadcast, I'm literally just on the fly doing a extended version of the Kandahar Giant from this morning. So I advise everybody to go back and watch that if you want to. Oh, Mike Harrison, it was about 8 to 10 years ago. Yeah, about 8 to 10 years ago. They've done covered it up, and they've got the little green men coming down the street now. We don't even know what 10 years ago. They don't even know what 10 months ago. So, people, the narrative, the news is so brainwashing. People have already forgot what happened 8 to 10 years ago. Unfortunately, I'm just being silly, but that is the truth, right? That is the truth. And that's sad. But there's old Troy Sowers in the chat. I'm glad everybody joined me tonight. Yeah. Oh, so they confiscated everyone's phones. Yeah, of course they confiscated everybody's phones. There's Cody. What's up, Cody? Yeah. Yeah, Cody, like I said, it was on the fly, man. I just wanted to kind of touch base and show y'all. If y'all want to see that again, because I kind of sped through those Google Earth imagery. on those star forts and stuff. But if y'all want to, you can shout it up in the chat, and I'll be more than happy to throw it up there again, see what y'all think. But and there's Ray. Hey, you made it, Ray. So yeah, so cool. I hope it made sense, but since I just come on here off on the fly, like literally on the fly. Yeah, finally you're on there, Ray. Yeah, so yeah, hello everybody. Hey Darby. Yeah, I got you in here. Yeah. Hello Ruth Anderson. Yeah, shalom everybody. But yeah, so if y'all want me to get in here and kind of go back over it, I can, if you want me to. But anyways, just chime in if you guys want to. But I was going to share something with you. So I'm going to do another Star Fort video. I know we did a community, I did a little community post on my YouTube channel. And like a ton of people was, hey, there, I see you there. I see you there. I know who you are. LaDonna. Yeah. But yeah, so thanks for people coming in. But yeah, I was going to do a Star Fort video because I couldn't have you all just vote, and that's just how I am. I was like, well, I know what everybody's going to do. They're not going to, I said I'm going to have like, it's going to be 50-50 down the middle. So everything I was looking at, I was like, man, I can't do this to these people. They want to do Giants and Star Forts, so I'm just going to do Giants and Star Forts. I'm doing both. And then don't forget the Bermuda Triangle that I'm going to be pulling off. That Bermuda Triangle one, I don't have a date yet, so I'll try to post it, maybe schedule like at least a day or 15 hours before I do it, so I can kind of give you all a heads up, and we can just go from there. And then we can we're going to go down a rabbit hole on that show, on the Bermuda Triangle Part 3. I'm going to do a Part 3, or that was going to be Part 2. I'm going to do a Part 3 episode, and Part 2 is going to be, it's going to be down the rabbit hole for sure. Jane Doe, the Giants looked and carried the Anasazi people, them and ate them as they want. That's why the bones were strung out of miles. Steve Quayle and Tom Horn researched it. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's so much stuff. There's so much mysterious things with that. And then it ties into the when you look at petroglyphs and hieroglyphics and stuff, and you see them. I mean, I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but you see all kinds of portal-shaped emblems on the petroglyphs and stuff. And then they just did a minute ride a couple weeks ago that was referring to that. Just a bunch of landmarkings and stuff that has circles, and I've come across them on all kinds of different, Scotland to anywhere in America, and they're all dated differently. It doesn't really matter what, I mean, there'll be 1,000 years difference, and they're still carving out the same symbol. And there's something very significant about it. And it who knows? But I mean, this whole Bermuda Triangle thing I'm gonna be doing Part 2. Just hang tight for that one, because I'm trying to compile everything together so I can make it really like it'll make it flow, and to kind of go off the first one I did. And there's gonna be some time travel components that I'm gonna be incorporating. Hey, Lena. Yeah, Lena. It's just if you're just tuning in, it was just on the fly. So, I know I'm catching everybody off guard. I know I need to be a little bit better at it. I'm sporadically just throwing stuff up, but I thank you all for coming back and patiently watching all my videos and stuff, and then let me know if I need to critique anything. But yeah, this I'm gonna have a time travel narrative. I'm gonna incorporate the time travel deal and what I found. And I don't know if y'all have seen what the Pentagon and all this insanity, all this news coming out with the aliens and stuff. But me and Dan did a show the other day. It's on my channel. You can go check that out. And but yeah, so there's that whole deal with that. And I'm not saying I believe it, but I will research it and kind of, I always gather it that it's an angelic property to it. It's not, but I think man is pushing the limits to what, man is pushing its limits, and these angels are these evil angels are giving them the ability to do things that they shouldn't be doing. But yeah, so, and I'm gonna look at some different time, like in the part 2, I'm gonna look at some different things with mileages, do with particular locations that would, with mapping, and if I do it correctly and I present it correctly, it's gonna make a lot of sense. And going through Jamaica, going back up north, up to the northern eastern side of the United States, it's gonna be pretty epic. And then there's going to be a lot of numbers I'm going to be throwing out, because lo and behold, I found so much significant number that, and it corresponds with these shows and movies. It's almost eerie, it's a little eerie. And then they're incorporating this alien, extraterrestrial narrative with time travel and everything. But when they're using the elemental spirits and the stoichioon, these elements of the earth, and I wonder how long they've been doing it, because the more I take a deep dive and then the stuff I've studied for 10 to 12 years, it's like all coming back and rattling in my head, and I remember something that I looked at 10 years ago and I forgot to write it down, and my mind will just like recap it, and it's like, or to recall it all, and it's like, oh my goodness, and I can't remember the name. I'll remember a symbol, or I remember a word, and then I go on this big rabbit hole spinning it, and I'm trying to figure it all out. So, so we got 5 more minutes. I don't want to interrupt with Dan's show, because he's going to be live here in 5 minutes. I would stay on here longer, but out of respect for my friend, I know that a lot of you all that are in my chat usually watch his show, and I just don't want to be disrespectful toward him in any shape or way, because I care about Dan. He's like a brother to me. And I'll just take a few questions if y'all want to spit them out real quick. Yes, portals everywhere. Yeah, that's what I was getting at with this whole Kandar before we get off here. The whole Kandar deal, right? I've read and looked. I've seen that giants can live between anywhere from 500. And with a lot of speculation, because man, it's hard to trust what man says, but when you look and dig, anywhere from 500 years to 800, I've seen 800 to 1200. You get into Anunnaki studies, Mesopotamia, and all these different things. Yeah, so I'm thinking, this is just me, that whole Kandar incident might have been some type of portal, interdimensional something gateway, and that opened up, or it was accidental and it just appeared. Because if you mean to tell me it's been sitting there up and down that cave system for up to an amount of years, just, and not been seen by anybody. That's what I couldn't get my mind through it. So I'm like, okay, so it's just people going around Afghanistan, going up there and going up to the cave and giving offerings to the beast and saying, please don't eat me. Here's a cheeseburger, here's a goat, or, like, you get what I'm saying? So how did it just randomly pop out of nowhere, and the military pegged it and went to this random location out in the middle of nowhere? So what if it was an interdimensional and some kind of gateway portal opened up, and then it couldn't go back and it had to sit there? I don't know. That's just my take. I know it's probably sounds a little bit out there, but you just the stuff we've been through in the last 2 years and what they're putting in the news, and I mean, heck, we're talking about time travel. They're literally saying that they have the ability to time travel. So what are you gonna do? So it's like, all this stuff's getting wild. So yeah, but yeah. It is Monday. We have 3 minutes and counting. And I know I just got a notification on my show, on my monitor here. And I'll take Troy Sowers says, discovered inside Love Lock Cave in 1931 2 giant skeletons. I have looked at that one. That one is awesome. But anyways, 2 minutes until Dan goes live. And I don't want to disrespect him in any way, shape, or form. And I encourage everybody to go over there. And real quick, Don't forget the Rip It in 2 days at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Go check that out. And me and John Hall and Dan Bedoni would love to have you all come and join us. But anyways, I'm about to get off here because my buddy Dan is going to be popping off at 8 o'clock. So y'all bounce off here, or y'all could stay here. But I thank you all, and I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. It was on the fly. I just want to chat about it, kind of reiterate and extend the Kandahar Giant location episode I did today, and just make this technically a part 2. So I'm making these part 1, part 2 shows all the time. So I hope y'all have a great day, and go check out Dan's broadcast is getting ready to pop off here in a little bit. So shalom, everybody. Hey, take care and have a good week. And I'll real promise I'll get the Starfort show and my Bermuda Triangle to be popping off this week. So y'all have a good day. Shalom.